everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Luna over here. I'm a real estate agent here in Philly. So when it comes to purchase the house, there are two parts and two people that you are going to be in a very close contact with. One is a lender and the number two is a realtor. And in order for you to purchase a house, I assume most first-time home buyers are going to get a loan. Then you would need to work closely with the lender. There are a few options. You can either go with like a big franchise, you know, like Chase, Bank of America, Quicken Loan, or you can pick like a local bank, which in my personal preference, I would always go with a local bank. In a realtor's perspective, when I work with a local lender, a lot of time it's a lot easier to get things done, and I'm always in contact with the one person versus if I'm working with someone who's in a bigger bank. I've always talked to different departments. It's kind of hard for me to get hold on and what's going on. With the fees, I know local lender, the rate is more competitive, and a lot of time for the loan origination fee, they charge a lot less versus a bigger bank. So let's get into the first part is to how you are going to pick up your lender. Right, so we talked a little bit about it, is, you know, compare the fees and usually go with a local versus, you know, bigger banks. And then also try to see if you can find your lender online, see if there's any testimonials and any reference with that particular lender. And number two is how to pick up your realtor. So for me, I'm a realtor myself, and if I'm a buyer and I'm looking to find my perfect dream house, I think the most important quality that I'm looking for in a realtor is how knowledgeable are you, especially in that local area. So you wanted to focus on what neighborhood you're going to search for, and then you pick the top agent in that area. A lot of time, if that person is local, see if they are listing agents. Sometimes listing agents have some pocket listings. It will give you a lot of resources before even it hits on the market. As we all know, right now it's the seller's market. So if your realtor is very resourceful and they have a lot of listings, they can probably let you see it when it's still at a coming soon status, which it can be a lot easier for you to put in an offer. They can kind of guide you on what price point that you can put in the offer for. Therefore, you can get your offer accepted before it hits on the market. You would have to compete with multiple different offers and different buyers. And then also you definitely want to work with someone who's a full-time, not a part-time agent, because if something came on the market, you want to see it right away. They have to devote their time and then put your searching for home as a priority. And now let's go into the steps of how to apply for a mortgage. So step one is the credit score. If you want to get the most competitive rate, you want to go with a credit score that's like 740, because I know if your credit score is more than 740, you get a better rate. And number two is to provide 2 years of tax return. So number three is you would have to provide 2 months of bank statement, and keep in mind no large deposits in this 2 months of bank statement, because it's gonna ring a red flag to the underwriter. They're gonna question it, where is this large deposit from? Then you would have to write a letter to explain where it's coming from. So it's best to show them a 2-month bank statement where it's clean, you know, all the deposit has been put it in on time. If you have a 9 to 5, this is your pay stub. You can explain where the money is coming from. And last but not least is you would have to put in a 1-month pay stub, and then also your ID and social security number. Once you get all the documents to your lender, then the next step will be interviewing the agent, and then you guys go look for houses. So when you are looking for your dream house and your dream home, you first identify what location you want, and then second importantly is to find out what layout works the best for you and your family, because location, layout are the two things when you live in the home you can't change them. And other things like, you know, bathroom, wallpaper, all these, they are cosmetics. You can always make that repair later on down the road, as long as the number makes sense to you. Number two is to, put in an offer. Once you identify what house you love, you would want to put in an offer and then consult with your realtor, have her pull some comps in the area, and then according to the comps, you put in an offer accordingly. When you are putting an offer, depending on what loan you're going with, there is the two major one, FHA and conventional. You might be able to ask for seller assist with your seller to use that to pay down for your closing cost at the end of closing. The second step is to take a picture of the deposit money that you're sending in to the seller. And once your offer has been accepted, you would want to either mail it or ask for the wire instruction to drop off the earnest deposit to that listing agent's office, because they will hold the deposit in a third-party escrow. Usually it's the listing agent's office. Deposit money shows the faith of buyer wanting to purchase the home, and the amount is going to be using towards at closing for the buyer. So how much do you want to put down as a deposit money, which we also call the EMD? It really depends on you. Usually it go by 1% to 5% of the sale price. So you can kind of go accordingly which way is make you comfortable. And then the next step is inspection. So if you are purchasing your first home, even if it's a new build home, I would always suggest my buyer to request an inspection, just so you can kind of see, you know, what things has been done correctly, what things needs to be fixed later on, and then also use the inspection report as a bargaining chip to see if you can kind of ask more credit from the seller. You don't really necessarily want the seller to address the issue. I would leave that part out at later on for appraisal if there's anything that's going against the regulation, or if anything is, you know, dangerous that needs to be addressed. That will come up during appraisal report. But as far as inspection goes, I wanted to see if I can ask some money to use towards closing as like a repair credit for me, you know, during the negotiation. And then after inspection, it's going to be appraisal. So appraisal usually is going to be ordered by your lender. So lender has no direct contact with the appraiser. It was hired by another party. They will contact the listing agent, set up the appraisal appointment, and then they will go out and then do all the necessary tests that they need to be done. Usually it will come back between 3 to 5 business days. Once you receive the appraisal report, you can kind of see how much the value is for the property that you're putting in the offer. Let's say you put in an offer for $500,000, but the appraisal report only came out to $480,000. That gap, usually you can ask the seller to kind of meet you halfway, or you can ask the seller to come down as $480,000. So if there's a $20,000 gap in between the offer price and the appraisal report value, your loan, they will only give you the loan amount according to the appraisal value, not your offer price. So then we have a problem, right? So what I suggest my buyer to do usually is to go ask the seller to come down that $20,000. If they refuse to do so, we can kind of meet them halfway. So that's kind of how I suggest my buyer. And the next step is CD. The buyer will receive a closing disclosure that was sent by the lender. It will tell you what the costs and charges are during closing. It's a very round estimate, so you would want to go over that with your lender very carefully, see if there's any missed charges, anything that was a mistake. And then the next step is walkthrough. So walkthrough usually was ordered by the day of closing or a couple days prior. You wanted to do and perform a walkthrough in order if there's any repair that was requested for appraisal, or any repair that was like agreed upon during inspection. You want to make sure those repairs are done. There's no any furniture that was left in the house. The house has to be swept clean. If there's anything that was still left at the house, you would want to take a picture and then escrow some money until the seller has moved that big furniture. So then the last step will be closing. You will head to the closing table at the title company the buyer chooses, and voila, you got the keys of your dream house. So this is the process of buying a house step by step, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have any question, make sure you leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.